For us bookworms, is there anything better than hauling books about books? Hello, my lovely bookworm friends. Kim here, and welcome on back to Bookworm Buzz. It is another haul video today, you guys, and I'm excited about this one because it is something a little bit different. In today's video, I have hauled six books that are about books. Well, let me say they're about books, they're about authors, they're about writing, they're books that are in some way about books. And I thought it would be a fun video to show you guys these books that I have recently hauled that are all about books. So settle in, my friends, and let's take a look at these six books. Right, so to kick off today's video, I am going to be telling you about this book. This book is called Welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop, and the author here is Wang Bo Riem. Now, this is a contemporary fiction novel. It is getting pretty good reviews. I think just under a 4-star rating on Goodreads. I've been hearing quite a bit about this one, and so I decided to pick it up. This is a translated novel. Now, in all honesty, I'm sort of lukewarm sometimes about translated novels because I have found that things sometimes tend to get lost in translation. But this one sounds very sweet. It sounds very cool. I've been hearing a few things about it, and so I decided to pick it up. The story here seems pretty basic. We're dealing with the main character here. She's a woman who lives in Seoul, and she is feeling burnt out. She has a bit of a hectic life. She's feeling burnt out, and so she takes the decision to move out of the city and to open a bookshop. And that's exactly what she does. And it sounds like she sort of finds herself in this bookshop to some extent. Let me just read to you very briefly, just right here from the end, which says, "A heartwarming story about finding acceptance in your life and the healing power of books. Welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop is a gentle reminder that it's never too late to scrap the plot and start again." So, I mean, it sounds fun, it sounds sweet, it sounds maybe like it's going to pull on the heartstrings just a little bit. I'm not too sure. But anyway, my friends, I'm super excited to have this one and to be adding it to my TBR. And then next up, we have a book that encompasses so many things that I love to read about. So this one seems to have some sort of fantasy elements in it. So box ticked for me. There's also a time travel element. And so again, box ticked for me. So I am talking about this one. This is called The Book of Doors, and the author is Gareth Brown. Now look at this pretty cover, you guys. Oh, it's pretty plain, but I really think it's pretty. Anyway, this one is another book that's getting quite good ratings on Goodreads. I think it's getting around 4 stars. So let me just briefly read to you. I'm not going to read the full blurb. I don't like to read the full blurb because sometimes I think it can get a bit boring. But I will just read to you a couple of paragraphs just so you can get a feel for this one. So it says, New York bestseller Cassie Andrews lives quietly, sharing an apartment with her best friend Izzy, and yet she feels something is missing from her life. Then a favorite customer gives her an old and rather curious book. At the very front, there is a handwritten message. "This is the Book of Doors. Hold it in your hand, and any door is every door." Whatever that means. Anyway, carrying on. Cassie is about to discover that the Book of Doors is a special book, a magic book, a book that bestows extraordinary abilities on whoever possesses it. She will soon learn that there are other magic books out there that can also do wondrous or dreadful and terrifying things. So I'm going to leave it there. Like I say, this one seems to have some fantasy type elements to it. And I've read on Goodreads that it is also a bit of a time travel book, and I have tended to really enjoy those in the past. So this is one that I'm going to hopefully be getting to soon. Next, we have a book that when I read the blurb, I was so excited about it. But now, unfortunately, it's not getting rave reviews. It's getting about a 3.59 on Goodreads. But you know what? I'm not completely devastated by that because I have tended to find that sometimes books that lots of people love, I don't love. And books that get low ratings on Goodreads, I have sometimes absolutely loved. So I'm not going to be put off by the ratings, but this is the next book that I decided to pick up. This one is called the In-Between Bookstore, and the author is Edward Underhill. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this one, and then let me know what you think, because I think this one sounds so amazing. It says, when Darby left Oak Falls for college in New York City, all he wanted was to get as far away as possible, find a community where he could start fresh, and finally forget about his childhood best friend, Michael, and just how painfully their friendship ended. Now, about to turn 30, Darby suddenly finds himself unemployed. With no better alternative and questioning where he really belongs, he moves back to his hometown. But the changes in Oak Falls, the planned community with his mother's new condo, the trendy coffee shop, make him feel off balance. And Michael's still here, their relationship still distant and strained, even though they've both changed. One thing is familiar. In between books, Darby's refuge, growing up, an eventual high school job. When he walks into the bookstore, Darby feels an eerie sense of deja vu. Everything is exactly the same. Even the newspapers are dated 2009. Hello, are we dealing with a time travel book again? I think so. And behind the register is a teen who looks a lot like Darby did at 16, who just might give Darby the opportunity to change his own present for the better, if he can figure out how, before his connection to the past vanishes forever. So again, my friends, this appears to be a time travel novel. It's a guy, a grown man who appears to go back in time to reconnect with his teenage self and to possibly make some changes that are going to better his life going forward. Yep, sign me up. I don't need to know anything more than that. And then next up, we have book number 1 in a trilogy. This one is called The Library Trilogy, and this is the first book. This is called The Book That Wouldn't Burn, and the author is Mark Lawrence. Now, again, this is a book I've been hearing a lot about. This one is a fantasy novel. So, you know, guys, I'm in my fantasy era, right? So a fantasy book that is about books. Yep, I couldn't wait to pick this one up, and so I'm so glad I did. Like I say, this is book number 1 in the series, and I have also picked up book number 2. So these are the 2 books that I have picked up so far in the series. Like I've said already, I do believe this is a trilogy. I'm not quite sure if the 3rd book is out yet or not. I have a feeling that it might be, but I have decided to pick up book 1 and 2. So let me just read you a little bit from book 1. The greatest story can reach the stars. Eva has lived his whole life trapped within a vast library, older than empires and larger than cities. Livera has spent hers in a tiny settlement out on the dust, where nightmares stalk and no one goes. The world has never noticed them. That's about to change. As their stories spiral around each other, across worlds and time, each will unlock the vast secrets about the world and themselves. This is a tale of truth and lies and hearts, and the blurring of one into another. So, sounds fascinating. Very, very keen to get to this one. It's not too chunky, actually, for a fantasy novel. I mean, it's not small, but it's not too bad. Oh, the writing is pretty tiny. The writing is pretty tiny. I'm not sure if you guys can get a feel for that. But anyway, okay, yeah, it comes in about 560 pages. And then obviously the book that broke the world is book number 2 in the series. This one is substantially smaller. Let me just see what the back says, but I don't want to read it to you if it's going to give anything away. But basically, let me just read you the first little blurb there. We fight for the people we love. We fight for the ideas we want to be true. And I'm not going to say more than that because I actually don't want to read. I mean, there's quite a bit more on the blurb on the back. I've just read to you that bit at the top, but I'm actually not going to read more than that because I don't want to know. If I haven't read book 1 yet, then it doesn't make sense for me to fully read the entire blurb of book 2. But just know, my friends, that these are another 2 books about books, and I am very happy to be adding these to my TBR. I'm always happy to hear good things about fantasy books, and so, yeah, excited to get to these. And then the last book making it into this video today is one that is a little bit strange because it is described mostly as a horror. I think it also has thriller type elements, but from what I know, this one is mostly a horror, and some of you might be wondering, how does this book make it into a video about books? But I will tell you, from the blurb at the back, it will become clear. So this one is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. So in this book, we are dealing with a situation where young girls are sent away to a home or an institution for young girls who have fallen pregnant. And the story revolves around them in this institution, for lack of a better word. But where the story does link to a book is right here. So basically it says, I mean, the blurb again is quite long. I'm not going to read that entire blurb to you because I have summarized the main points, but I wanted to read to you about the book section. Every moment of their waking day is strictly controlled by adults who claim to know what's best for them, until Fern meets a librarian who gives her an occult book about witchcraft. And suddenly, power is in the hands of the girls for the first time in their lives. But power is never given freely. There's always a price to be paid, and it is usually paid in blood. So there is the link to the book aspect. Obviously, this is an occult book that these girls are given. And so I am so excited to get to this one. I can't actually believe that I haven't read it yet. I have about 3 or 4 books on my TBR that are so highly anticipated by myself, and I haven't got to them yet. So I think maybe I should actually do a reading vlog and read those 3 or 4 books. And that this one here will definitely be in that reading vlog because I'm super excited to get to it. And I actually can't believe that I haven't gotten to it yet already. Okay, so friends, on that note, those are the 6 books featuring in today's video. As I mentioned at the start, they are all books about books or libraries or librarians or whatever it is. A few of them are fantasy. We've got a horror. We had a contemporary fiction. So I just think these sound amazing. I'm so happy that I was able to pick them up, and I'm so happy to be adding them to my home library. That's about it, my friends. I actually don't have anything else to say. So on that note, I'm gonna wish you all happy reading. Bye.